Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Panzer Corps, the turn-based strategy game that is the spiritual successor to the early 90s classic Panzer General. This is the third night in a row that I have streamed Panzer Corps, and I know it's actually on sale right now along with Matrix Games' entire catalog over on Steam. So that's going on right now, and so I figured, why not keep on playing it? It seemed like people over the last couple of days have enjoyed the streams. We have, gone through the early war years as Germany, and this we're playing the stock Panzer Corps game. There are three major expansions: Africa Corps, Allied Corps, and Russian Corps, that I can name off the top of my head, as well as a whole bunch of additional scenarios and packs and other things like that that you can pick up with the game. We are just playing the base game. That is the Panzer Corps Wehrmacht. We're playing as the Germans. In this campaign so far, we have successfully invaded and conquered Poland, Norway, and then we fought and won the two French campaigns as well as the Yugoslavian campaign. Now, we've been on a bit of a mediocre streak as of late. We won Poland and Norway, I believe it was, decisively. But with regards to France, both those battles were minor victories, and so was Yugoslavia. So we were unable to launch an invasion of England, and we were also unable to launch an invasion of Crete or anything along those lines. We've been thrown right into the heart of it. We are now about to invade the Soviet Union, so we're about to launch an invasion of the USSR. And you can see here, this is the Barbarossa campaign. This is the Barbarossa campaign map. We've got a lot of objectives we need to take, and we have only about 23 days to do it, so we'll see what the most effective route is to accomplish our goals. You can see here there's one city kind of off on the south. The key is going to be following these road and rail links, as they're going to allow us to speed through the map much more quickly. So I think we're going to need to have a northern force that's going to drive north. Well, do we really? I guess the main roadway here in the middle of the map is going to be our main line of advance. There's three objectives right along it, plus multiple objectives that kind of pop off it on spurs, if you will. So I think we'll put a small force up north here, and maybe they can pincer in behind the rear. Meanwhile, we'll put the bulk of our force here in the center and just break troops off to take various towns and cities as required. Hopefully that will work. It looks like we start with a couple of units that are not part of our core forces that were just given as part of playing this. So you can see here, this looks like something like a railgun of some kind, just this gigantic field piece. I'm assuming it moves really slow, but it has huge suppression capabilities. We've got a recon truck, which should help us spot enemy troops and prevent ambushes, an anti-tank gun, a flak gun, and a Stug assault gun up here in the north. That's kind of like mobile artillery, really, the way that unit plays out in the game. We also have 17 units here that we have not yet deployed. They are all at full strength. 2 fighter units, 1 Stuka, 2 artillery units, 3 tank units, and then a bunch of infantry, including some engineers, which I'm hoping are useful in this scenario so that maybe we can bypass some main points of enemy resistance. With all of that being said, I also have about 2,000 prestige in the bank. We get 50 additional per turn, and I'd like to go ahead and purchase some additional units because we can deploy up to 28 units in our core in this battle. We only have 17. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase a few more units. I have 2 fighter units and 1 TAC bomber. I'm going to go ahead and purchase a new Ju-87 Stuka, a little bit better than my current Stuka. I'm also going to go ahead and upgrade my existing Stuka. Let's see, it's at 2386. If we upgrade here, it only costs us 28, so that's great. We're also going to look at upgrading our fighters because they're the original BF-109 variant. We can upgrade them for only 40 prestige points, which is your currency in this. So getting them on the newer fighters should make them more lethal. In addition to that, I'm going to add some transports to these units, so it doesn't cost a ton of money, and I want to make sure that pretty much all my infantry need to have trucks. We need to cover a lot of ground and rapidly in this scenario. So again, I'm going to give my guys some better vehicles. They're not going to be given full APCs, which makes them less vulnerable to enemy counterattack, but they're all going to at least be on trucks, and that should allow them to be more rapid moving. 2 more units to do that too. Again, speed is going to be of the essence in this battle if we're going to be successful with the sheer number of objectives there are. In addition to that, we bought 1 Stuka. We've got 2 fighters, I think I'm going to actually go ahead. Do we want to add a third fighter? I'll come back to that. I do want to add a fourth tank, and we can see here we've got some Panther 4 tanks that we can upgrade to. So these are much better tanks than what we had before. I'm not sure about the difference between the Panther 4E and the... Well, it looks just like less fuel, but better firepower. So we'll go ahead and upgrade to the Panther 4. I think the Panzer, not Panther. I think the Panzer 3H is better against infantry, if I'm right. Definitely carries more ammo. It's better, let's see here, better initiative. Actually, no, it's worse on everything except for hard attack, so that's interesting. There's also a Panzer flame tank, which I'm assuming is better at assaulting dug-in units. But we're just going to go, it's a hard, so that means it is, the target type is a doubly hard tank, but we're mainly going to go with Panzer IVs as the workhorse of our military here. So the Panzer 4D, the Panzer 4F, we've actually, all of our tanks are already Panzer IVs, with the exception of this special unit. I don't know if we can upgrade them or not, or if we really want to. Oh, wow. These must be, okay. So we can upgrade them. I don't know what these are. These must be some kind of elite units or something like that. So we're currently using that. All right. We'll spend some money upgrading them. So upgrading some of our tanks. Some of them maybe we'll just leave. Let's see. How expensive is it? That's cheap. To upgrade these guys is not expensive. It's only like 70. So we're increasing the quality of our troops here. I don't have any airborne units, but I don't really think dropping troops behind the Soviet lines is advised at this point. I'm thinking about what else we want. Maybe one more artillery piece. Let's see here. We could go with a heavier gun. 321. 270, the Nibberwaffe. It's actually better against infantry. Much worse against tanks. And it's got shorter range. Of course, we could go with the heavier gun, but these are... I'm not sure. Or the... I guess these are rocket artillery, but they're APCs. They're not great. It looks like they're pretty much bad at everything except killing infantry, which the Soviets will probably have a lot of. It's also really expensive. We could go with the Sturmpanzer, which is basically an artillery gun mounted on a panzer tank. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, our Panzer IVs are... I think all of our German tanks are support tanks at this point, patchwork. Really, if we're being honest, none of them are great against armor. Speaking of which, do we have any better anti... Yeah... Our anti-armor weapons all kind of suck, too. Let's get these motorized troops. They're not great. They get horrible against hard targets. Decent against infantry. Yeah, let's get one of these guys. These guys will be super fast. And I'm going to buy one more unit. We'll leave some money in reserve because we'll definitely run into challenges here, I'm sure. We already have a recon. I'm thinking artillery, maybe the Sturmpanzer. Yeah, if we run into T-34s, we're screwed, but we also don't have any good tanks that are capable of dealing with T-34s at this point in time. But is it a better anti-tank gun in the game? That's kind of what I'm wondering. We'll go with the Nubelwerfers. Alright, so we've got 21 units now to deploy, so I guess we might as well just get right to it. These troops in the north, I'm not sure. Yeah. Just kind of thinking through my deployments. So I think in the north, we'll want to go with some motorized infantry. These guys are really fast and hopefully good at what they do. We've got a Stug up there for some local artillery support up in the north, and then we'll also go ahead and throw in a Panther 4, and we'll throw in one regular infantry unit up here in the north. So we've got a modest-sized force up here, but that's fine. In the south, we're going to go ahead and deploy a bunch of artillery. These all have trucks, so they can quickly move, especially the Nibelwerfer, which has the APCs, can move cross-country pretty quickly. So we're actually going to deploy 2 artillery pieces immediately within range of the city of Brest, because I'm sure the Soviets have a decent amount around that city. And then Brest-Litovsk historically was well dug in, so I don't know if it really is or not in this scenario, but we're going to go ahead and deploy some heavy infantry in the south as well, some grenadiers, pioneers, all troops that'll be ideally placed to knock out enemy entrenchments. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to put these tanks up along the roadways in the north so they can quickly move down these roads and break into the Soviet, rear or into the front. We'll also go ahead and send in some engineering troops to help allow us to cross this river here. And then we'll just go ahead and kind of deploy, I suppose, the remainder of our forces wherever. Let's see here. I guess we'll deploy a couple more infantry in the north, just in the off chance we need them, which doesn't seem like so much of an off chance. None of these objectives, by the way, these starting German cities are considered objective cities, so that's a positive. And yeah. All right. So that just about does it there, and then we don't have a lot of options for deploying our Air Force here, so we'll just deploy them kind of in the center because there's not a ton of options there. So that does it. You can see here we've got to accomplish all of our objectives in 14 days for a decisive victory, which would allow us to attack Moscow. That's a lot of ground and objectives to cover in 14 days. So we'll see how that all plays out. I'm going to send my recon unit across the map. Oh, shit. Okay, so recon unit does its job and quickly spots several Soviet forces in our path, which is good. They got ambushed, but they didn't lose too heavily. They did knock out a little bit of Soviet regular troops, and you can see here what the enemy has in store for us. Meanwhile, down near Brest, I was right. You've got a fortress down here, so I'm glad I deployed some pioneers, and I think... Well, apparently our Nibelwerfer doesn't reach there. I think what we'll do, deploy our pioneers across the river here, deploy our heavy, those infantry will get chewed to pieces. We'll deploy our bridging unit, and that will actually create a bridge here for our other forces to move across. Additionally, we'll go ahead and move this heavy artillery or tank gun or whatever the heck it is forward. And we'll move this artillery forward. Okay, so we're going to pound the hell out of the troops around Brest-Litovsk. We're not going to take it the first turn. We're just going to try and reduce its supporting elements first. I think that's the best. Well, actually, oh, yeah, that's the best route to go. There does appear to be enemy anti-aircraft weapons, so I'm actually going to move my artillery forward so it can engage those. So then I can call on my air support to come provide some cover for our troops. Main target here at this point is the enemy artillery pieces, because they assist any defense. If the enemy, is attacked and they have an artillery unit adjacent, it provides fire support. So that's why I was targeting that artillery piece. Meanwhile, this flak gun is obviously a threat to our air units. But by destroying it, hopefully we can mitigate its risk. Okay, so you can see the Stuka there did a pretty good job bombarding that enemy artillery. I'm going to go ahead and bomb this AK gun, because again, we did a lot of damage to it because it had that little red icon. It was suppressed. If it didn't, it would have shot back. But thankfully, because it was suppressed, it was much less of a risk to us. And there you go, that rocket artillery, not quite as effective as I had hoped, but it did suppress the enemy. Okay, so our pioneers destroyed that enemy artillery piece. Looks like we're still having some trouble if we want to attack directly on the enemy machine gun post. I'm going to move the Nubov away a little bit just because the Russians could cross this river here and try and engage us. Meanwhile, we'll move some forces down this main road. We actually have some fighter units. I don't see any Soviet fighters yet, so I'm going to use my fighters at least initially for a little bit of ground support. At least that fighter will. This other fighter will go ahead and... yeah. Okay, so that did some good. That damaged that enemy infantry. And there you go. Our armor destroyed that enemy infantry unit with relative ease, and we've now busted an at least initial hole kind of in the Soviet center. Okay. And we'll move these guys on foot. I don't want to have them mount up yet. They become very vulnerable if we let them mount up on their trucks. Move our pioneers forward here. Infantry over here. Alright. So, I think that about does it in the south. We still have those troops up in the north. There is not, Sylvia, there is not a specific, to my knowledge, representation of how many men equals a hex on the map, or a unit on the map. It's somewhat abstract. Okay. Man, attacking Grondo. Well, we don't really need to attack this Soviet city, really, if we think about it. We just need to move this way. Alright. So we'll use our artillery here to soften up these Soviet infantry. You can see this little icon change colors. Now they're suppressed, and we can attack much more effectively. Or we're supposed to be able to attack much more effectively against those Soviets. We did drive them back. They retreated, so now our armor can exploit them retreating. And you can see there we did a decent amount of damage as we're driving on the city of Vilnia. Meanwhile, these guys in the south, I think we'll just kind of keep them put. I don't want to attack that city if we don't need to. Hopefully we can advance from our army group center, if you will. To deal with them. Okay, so I don't think there's anything more we need to do, just 2 units that could attack that I'd rather not have attack at the moment. So go ahead and end the turn. Okay, so some Soviet air units have made their presence felt. Some TAC air doing some damage to our armored columns. And some fighters trying to attack our Stukas, but our Stukas actually able to defend themselves adequately there. Jesus, that's a lot of fighters. Soviet armor! Oh, God. For fuck's sake. Alright, that infantry unit on our flank is getting hit hard. Well, the meat grinder that is the Soviet Union has already begun. So that was a difficult turn. Let's see what we want to do with our fighters here. They can't hit anything. This ACAC gun apparently can turn to the ground and engage ground units. Let's see, where's our other fighter here? Let's go destroy these Russian bombers. Alright, so we knocked out one of their air units. And our Stukas are going to go do what? Protect kind of our flank with some bombing strikes around the edges of our forces. And the big guns. There you go. Oh, not suppressed. Wow. Now they're suppressed. Wow. That fortress is really holding up. Okay. Damn. Well, this is already getting off to a bad start. Let's see. Great. Our motor troops. Let's pull these guys out. Oh shit, they can't get away. All right. All right. Well, let's see. Yeah, I know that Brest-Litovsk is difficult. They didn't have many T-34s, but they did have some. You are correct. In the early part of the conflict. All right. Soviet engineers and trucks, i.e. sitting ducks. Okay. I think that just about does it here. Might as well resupply the rocket artillery since it can't really do anything. We do want to move the cavalry forward. They can go ahead and attack the Soviet infantry. Oh, wow. That was a good job by the horsemen there, wiping out that Soviet unit. All right. Move our engineers off the water, have them attack, and die. The next turn we should have all of our artillery concentrated on Brest, and hopefully that'll allow us to take the city. Meanwhile, I think we'll go ahead and move ahead. Oh, really? Hope that was our rookie Stuka. Oh my god. Holy shit, they've got a lot of air. Okay, these Soviets seem a little bit too aggressive. We're all going to die! I sure hope they don't get reinforcements. It wouldn't be very Soviet-like if they didn't, but... they just shot down one of our 2 Stukas. Let's see here. Was it the experienced guy? No, it was the rookie, but still... He's almost dead. Alright, so that fighter should be dead. There you go. And... Alright. Now we just have to hope retreating the Stuka behind our friendly fighter cover will keep them off our back a little bit. And now it's time for Brest to die. Oh, apparently not. No suppression at all? Right. I'm kind of sending my guys forward a little bit premature, I guess. But I'm just kind of hoping that I can start sending troops forward and that what I have left will be sufficient to reduce this thing. Alright, so at the very least it should fall next turn? Reinforce them. Jeez. What are these? T-26s? Alright. The Soviet tanks seem much stronger on the offensive than they do on the defensive. That's kind of why I diverted a bit of my attack to deal with them. Assault guns. And then using up some of our prestige here. Nice. Okay, that anti-tank gun is gone. Good job, infantry. Now we can finally try and move on Vilnia next turn, although, again, there's quite a bit of enemy armor between us and them. I think that just about does it for this turn again, though. I don't know if we really want to try and bother taking any of these sort of side objectives or not. My gut says no, but I also don't want to leave substantial enemy forces in our rear. Alright. Alright, should be good for it. If you lose, then communism is better than fascism, which is better than historical gamer. Alright, everybody. The initial invasion of Russia is progressing. Things are moving a little bit slower than I would like, but nonetheless it is underway, and we will see over the coming videos if we are able to subdue the Red Bear and the Stalinist USSR in their great patriotic war to resist the invasion of Germany under my command. With that being said, we are going to go ahead and cut this video off here. We'll break the scenario up into a couple of pieces and make it a little bit more bite-sized and manageable. So with that being said, I'm going to jump in here in the live stream and just thank you guys for watching and let you guys know that I really appreciate the support as always. Until next time, guys, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.